Today's video is going to be about Tilray and its charts, where I'm going to be breaking down what it's been doing the past couple weeks to even a couple months, and then I'm going to try and help you guys figure out where the stock is going for the next week. So March 1st through March 5th. I'm going to hopefully give you guys some support and resistance levels so that you guys can look for those levels next week to help you better decide on what you plan to do with the stock. So this is what the end result of this video is going to look like. This is all the analysis that I'm going to be doing on this video. So in order to see how I did all of this and why I did all of this, just stay tuned, buckle up, and hopefully you will learn a thing or two. So now I am going to erase all of this in 3, 2, 1. And now we are starting from scratch. And I'm basically going to show you guys how I do what I do and why I do it. So the first thing I like to do on any chart is I like to look at the wide shot. I like to see what's going on, what happened in the past that is maybe something I can pull into what's happening right now. So as far as looking at wide shots, I pretty much just use the price level. I try and find frequent levels of support and resistance that it has been using frequently throughout this timetable. Now, right here, you can see it looks like it might hit it. The reason I drew this line right here is because it touches it right here. It breaks through it here, and then it comes down and it touches it twice there. Now, this little point back here looks like it is going to hit it, but it actually doesn't. It comes up just a smidge short. And if we were to drop this lower, there wouldn't really be any other points that it was hitting. So that's why I drew it up here, because it hit off these 2, 3, 4 lines more than just this one line. So what is this line? This is the 1616 level. So that's something to be aware of if the stock continues to drop. Another level that I'm seeing right now looks to be like the 2051 level. It tried to break through it right here, and it did for a little bit, but then it immediately came back and did not stay above that line. It tried to break it out right here, right here, right here, and then right here and right here. So clearly this line of 2035 or thereabouts is a key line to keep in mind moving forward. Oh, and it actually hit it right here. It looks like sometime this week, which we will talk about shortly. And then it ended up breaking out above this line in early February. Let's see another line that I can see right now. Looks to be about here. It looks like it's the 29-ish, say 2907. It bounced off of it right here. Finally broke through it on its way to the moon up at 77, came crashing back down to earth, bounced off of the 29 level, and then unfortunately came back down, broke through it, used it as support, broke down again, touched this support level, and then came back, was unable to break through the 29 and change level, and we are currently somewhere down here. So that is why I like to use the wide shot, because it's able to give us strong support and resistance lines that we might not be able to see up close and personal, which is what we will be looking at for the rest of the charts. We're going to be hopping into the 20-day, 1-hour chart, and what we're going to be doing, what I love doing, is the Fibonacci retracements. For those unfamiliar, Fibonacci retracements are basically a grid/graph-like feature in here that follows the Fibonacci sequence, also known as the golden spiral. These numbers and these patterns are frequently found in nature, and while the stock market is not nature, for whatever reason, the stock market follows these numbers. And as you can see with Tilray, that is no exception. It was basically living off of the 1707 one. Down here in early February, it eventually ends up breaking above this blue line, which is a past trend line. And then on the way up, it's harder to find patterns as you're currently going up, because as you're constantly hitting new highs, you have nothing to look back at. But like when you're down here, you have more data behind you that basically says what you've done when you've been here. More or less, you have more support and resistance lines to look at when you're in an area you've already been, as opposed to when you're on the way up. Because when this stock was on its way up, this didn't exist. And there was nothing behind this over here. So this is uncharted territory, which makes it extremely hard to trade because you don't know what to look for. You don't know where key lines of support and resistance will be. But now that it's already gone up and unfortunately came back down in seemingly a day, we are back to its, I don't want to say inflated levels, but let's see. But as far as like where we were trading at basically the entire all of last year in 2020, we are definitely at inflated levels. We were pretty much just chilling around $7, $8, $9, and now we are currently at 24 and change. So let's go back to that 20-day 1 hour chart. And what I want to do next is draw some trend lines. Now, I don't love trend lines for the idea of trying to figure out price points. What I draw trend lines for is that trends, because trend lines are sort of tricky in the sense that you can sort of create your own truth with trend lines. You can basically trick yourself into believing that, oh yeah, I drew this trend, therefore once it breaks this trend, it's golden and all that fun stuff. Not really the case. So I really only like to draw trend lines for just that, trends. The most common ones you're going to see are these channels, which is basically this. You either have an up channel or a down channel, or another common one that you will see is basically a triangle. And I don't really see a triangle here. I mean, I don't. There really isn't one. But basically what happens at triangles is we're not going to talk about that. So in Tilray, you can see that it clearly just absolutely destroyed this trend line. But the problem is that it only destroyed it for like 2 days. This day and then this day. But this day, it came back down into the trend line. So that's how this trend line is working, because this was just an anomaly of some sort. So at the moment, we are back in this downward trend, which isn't a bad thing. It's not a bad thing considering where the stock ended up closing. Something that you do like to see is it challenge the trend line. It did right here in the Thursday pre-market. It was unsuccessful and came back down, because the reason why you want to challenge the trend line is if it ends up breaking the trend line, because before you break the trend line, that line is resistance. And when you break the trend line, that line then becomes support. So it's just as crucial as any other key line of support and resistance, because if you break the trend, that's a good thing. That means that it's free. It can hopefully do something else than just continue to go down. So not a whole lot happened on Friday. This blue line is the 20-day moving average. When we're looking at a window this close up, the time frame meaning, the 20-day moving average is the one that the stocks typically like the most. As far as next week goes, what are we looking for? What should we look for? Well, this downward trend line, that is something to keep in mind moving forward. Where are we going to open, and do we open below it or above it? So let's just say for the open on Monday, it looks like if we open below it, it's going to be anywhere below 26.65, and above it will be like 26.7 or thereabout. So if we open above 26.7 on Monday, I think that's good news, because now that doesn't mean it can't go back down the trend line, but it's going to be a little bit harder. So best case scenario for Monday is it opens above 26.7. Not necessarily worst case, but just like okay case is opening up below 26.65. So clearly this is going to be the key level to watch on Monday. Technically, can it break this level? Sure. Do I think it will? I don't know. I don't know. If it keeps going down, right, this blue line, so if it keeps going down, this is the trend line. This is the bottom trend line. So it's got to go down pretty dang far to hit this bottom trend line. And it has to basically blow through these blue lines are the, 90 plus days of support and resistance levels. So these blue lines are pretty solid lines to look for in terms of when and if they break out. So if and when it does get down to this bottom trend line, it's going to have to break 2 of the blue trend lines. And that's going to be hard to do, I think, hopefully, unless you get some bad news, then yeah, it could break that fairly easily. But as far as moving forward for March 1st through March 5th, you have the 2038 line to look forward to. So Monday, you should definitely see a range in between 2038 and, anywhere from 26.6 to 26 flat. So that's actually like a $6 range. That's actually quite a lot. But keep that in mind. Those are the 2 levels to look for on Monday. Moving forward for the week, some of the vaguer general price targets, because obviously I don't know which direction it's going to go. As far as on the downward trend, look for $16 even. Actually, let's look for 17 and 16. Those should be key numbers that you should be looking for. Hopefully it hits it. If it does hit it, it bounces right back up. But hopefully it doesn't break below this 2038 level. And then as far as the upside goes, we all love the upside. You're looking at 28.8 on the upside. You can see it toyed with the idea of staying above it on Wednesday after hours and Thursday pre-market. It unfortunately did not and came right back down. So you're looking at the 28-ish line, 29, and then if it breaks above that, the Fibonacci resistance, next one is 31.21. So moving forward, let's just say that next week I would anticipate the stock can be moving anywhere from $31 all the way down to possibly $16. So I'm not saying it's where it's going to end up or where it's going to go, but I think that if you were to ask me what trading range would Tilray be trading in March 1st through March 5th, I would confidently say in between $16 and $31, unless major news breaks out and something that I can't necessarily predict on Friday after hours. If you guys like this technical analysis video, I do post other technical analysis videos of other charts and stocks. So if you like the way that I broke this stock down and basically explained everything to you, feel free to stick around and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I post them on the weekends to sort of give you guys a game plan, hopefully moving forward for the upcoming week, what price targets to look forward to in terms of support and resistance, as you hopefully saw in this video. So if you like that, feel free to stick around. And as always, I will see you guys next video.